What up, my dudes? What's happening, man? This is Trent, and it is 2019, and I get a lot of portfolios sent to me, man. I run an art house, so I see a lot of portfolios, a lot of artists that want to get some work, and I see a lot of the same mistakes that just keep happening. I've mentioned some of these things before, but I wanted to dive a little bit deeper into the top 5 mistakes that I see in portfolios still in 2019. Let's do it. First and foremost, if you're a hobbyist and you're like, I don't want no work and I don't want no feedback, well, you can just you can mute the audio here and just watch the video. Because this is about helping you guys get work. And the thing is that I see some of these common mistakes that just keep popping up no matter how many times I say it. First and foremost, if you're going to send in your portfolio, you're going to send in your resume, be sure to include a link to your website portfolio or your ArtStation, someplace where they can click and look at your artwork. They will assess so much about you before they're going to read about you. Nobody's going to read your resume and your cover letter before looking at your portfolio. They're going to see whether or not you're in the literally less than 0.1% of employable artists out there. After they look at your awesome portfolio, then they want to learn more about you, but never vice versa, never in the other order. And overall, it really does just matter whether or not they like you. Sometimes people get hired just because they want you around. I've seen people get hired for completely ridiculous cover letters. I don't recommend you try to be silly, be serious, but show your interests and why you really want to work there. So yeah, have a cover letter, have your resume, but remember to include your link to your portfolio. Don't forget that. It's important. I literally get letters from people saying, hey, can I send you my portfolio? Like, what? Just send it. Okay, second thing. If you're looking for a concept art job in the video game industry, for instance, you're not going to want to have things like anime heads. You're not going to want to just have drawings of cute girls in anime poses. That might be very exciting to put on YouTube and on your Twitter, and you'll probably get a hell of a lot of likes and retweets and all that stuff, but it's not going to get you a job because essentially, how can a company sell that? Unless if they're making a trading card game that features a lot of cute anime girls. Then you might send your portfolio to them because that's what they do, But if they're a company that makes serious AAA games or even mobile games and that's not what they do, then don't send that type of content in your portfolio. To kind of prove what I'm talking about here, go ahead and make a little list of all the games, all the video games out there that utilize character designs like this that are developed in your country. Now, if you're in Japan, you're probably, there's a lot of JRPGs that use a lot of characters like this. But in the United States, there's a certain kind of aesthetic style, and there are only a few companies that are doing this sort of anime-inspired cute character drawings. Unless if you're planning to start your own movement here, then I would suggest doing the kind of thing that they're actually hiring and not trying to convince them that they should be hiring you when you don't do anything that they make. I suppose to summarize that, it's like look at the company you're applying to, look at the art that they hire, the artists that they hire, and do the kind of art style that those people are doing. Okay, third mistake. Now, doing studies is a great thing. Doing studies and actually doing breakdowns, anatomy, close-up headshots, stuff like that, painting your dog. These are great tools and great developmental practices for you to be doing as an artist to improve your rendering ability and your anatomy and just overall becoming a better renderer or better artist. This kind of thing is excellent for Twitter. This kind of thing is excellent for your blog or your Facebook updates and that sort of a thing. Show people that you're developing. Show people that you're doing tutorials and practicing your craft. That's awesome. It is not, however, appropriate to put in your concept art portfolio if you're applying for a job in games. A concept artist working in games never gets hired to just paint a dog or paint a guy in a suit or paint a close-up of a human face, unless if there's something unique and interesting about that character. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, what about Naughty Dog? What about The Last of Us? What about these games that are set in a photorealistic reality? And I concur. That's a very good point. But one thing that I noticed about all of those guys and all of those companies is that they are hiring digital artists that are almost damn near masters. So you got to ask yourself, are you at that skill level? Is that an applicable role for you? And this is just my opinion, but the purpose of concept art is to inspire a visual cue for something that did not exist before, to design something unique and interesting, to stimulate the audience, to give them something frickin' hype. Don't give me a portfolio with a bunch of turnarounds of a guy in a suit. I could literally pick up a photograph of a bunch of people wearing suits and build a model off of that. I don't need a concept artist to design a face of another Caucasian guy with short hair. Like, there are millions, hundreds of billions of people that I could just look at a photograph of to build a face off of. So unless if that character has something really unique and interesting and creative expressed in that portfolio, I don't want to see that kind of stuff. It's boring, it's bland, it's uninteresting. If you have incredible painting skill and you're showing off your painting skill, then that's appropriate to put in your portfolio. If you're applying to a studio that does photorealistic stuff like that, look at the artists. Again, look at the artists that they're hiring. Do they paint like that? But otherwise, pretty consistently, no just like studies of landscapes, of photorealistic places, no studies of existing architecture. Do something interesting with it. Kick it in the pants. Do something unique. Give it a backstory. Have it wrecked out. Have it merged with alien technology. Do something creative. That's what a concept artist does. Another really common mistake is not labeling what the hell the painting or the concept art is even for. I like to put a little consistent label on every image. I use templates for my portfolio stuff. And I like to put a little title with a little thing describing a little bit of what it's about. So, for instance, it might say, this is a Portal redesign, or this is a Zelda redesign. Like, give context to your paintings so that they can assess what your goals were. In fact, it's best, especially if you're on ArtStation or something like that, write a little description. These were my intentions. This is what I was aiming for. I wanted to challenge myself with this. I've never done sci-fi, so I tried to do that, or that sort of a thing. Give context to your painting so that they can assess how well you achieved your goal. One more tip I want to squeeze in here is don't just say the same thing over and over in your portfolio. Have a lot of variety. A great portfolio should be just a flood of incredibly interesting, curious ideas. Every single page in your portfolio matters. And if you've got a page full of bland ideas that don't tell any kind of story or ask any questions or provide any kind of interesting, unique take on something, then that's not a portfolio that anybody's going to linger on. In fact, if you've got a portfolio online now, it might be a good idea to go through and just strip out anything that's boring or bland or looks like a study or looks like it's just a normal face, or it's just a normal dog, or just a normal painting of a horse, or these are sketches that I did at the park. Those are great things to have on your blog, not in your portfolio, man. I totally realized, like, this is almost a rant. And I don't want it to come off that way. You know, I just recently did a video about feedback, and I know that sometimes it can feel like I'm not getting any feedback on my portfolio, and that's like the number one thing that people comment on in the comments below the videos. I'm posting and I'm applying and I'm not even hearing back from employers, and I don't understand why. Well, there's a good chance, like, if you go through your portfolio and you evaluate, did I make any of those mistakes Trent talked about in that video when he sounded all harsh and intense? Sorry about that, but I do get intense about this stuff. It's because I care. Anyway, if you're feeling that maybe you're making some of those mistakes, give it an evaluation, and you should do that every couple of months, you know? Go through and go, man, is there anything in here that's kind of boring or bland or unexciting, you know? Maybe I can hype that up. Even if you just got, you know, paintings of characters and turnarounds wearing suits, give them a really interesting, weird suit. Like, give them a theme, give them a story, and try to communicate that story. I did a talk recently about good character design and what goes into it. And if you really want to improve your portfolio, you can ask a friend to tell you about your portfolio. Just have them, like, sit down, somebody that, you know, really cares about you. They don't have to be an artist. Just show them each character design in your portfolio and say, hey, tell me about this character that I drew. And don't lead them, don't guide them, don't tell them anything. Just have them tell you the story that they see from your character design. And if it's not the story you had in your mind, reverse engineer that shit. Go back and go, how can I communicate that he's infected by an alien parasite? I don't know. That's a good question. Write that into a little bullet point thing. Redesign that character with that in mind. Start with the super hype, interesting idea, and the technical skill that's attached by a chain. You drag that along in your super enthusiastic, hype idea generation that you're doing, and that's the meat and potatoes of the cycle of doing concept art. I've done a great deal of breakdown on this in my portfolio workshop that I've got over on my Gumroad channel. If you're interested in really digging deep into how to format your portfolio, common mistakes that people make when they present their portfolio, where can you shop it around, how do you get in contact with potential employers, all that stuff, I cover that in my portfolio workshop over there on my Gumroad channel. And dudes, that's it for me on this one. I hope this helps you out. I wish I knew these things when I was trying to get work earlier in my career, so I hope it helps you. And dudes, until next time, I want to thank you so much for stopping by, and I will catch y'all. And ciao, baby. Oh, yeah.